Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the start of a new vlog. So we are what day is it today? Today is February 13th, so we are one day away from Valentine's Day. That's exciting, I guess. Me and my husband don't particularly celebrate Valentine's Day, but you know, because you should show love all year round, not just one time a year. You need to show it every single day. And as difficult as that can be sometimes, it is obviously a great thing to do. But anyways, I don't know why I'm going off on this tangent. I am just on my lunch break from work, so just thought I'd start this vlog with a little bit of update of what I am reading right now, what I'm listening to, and I have a bit of a book haul. So I know like in 3 out of 4 of these vlogs I have had like books that I bought. I swear I really don't buy this many books this often. I don't know, I just kind of have the bug in me right now, and sometimes I just got like stress going on at work, and sometimes kind of how I deal with stress is I buy stuff. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. But this trilogy, I have been looking for this trilogy in this, like, all broken out as 3 books for forever. And Barnes & Noble, all they would ever have is the bind up, and I don't want the bind up of this trilogy. I want it all separated out into equal books because I just like it better that way. They're smaller. I don't like the way that big book looked together. And the trilogy that I'm talking about is the Inheritance trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. And so I found these on Amazon, and they were way cheaper than what they would have been through Barnes & Noble anyways. So sorry, Barnes & Noble, you lost my sale on that one. But so this is actually N.K. Jemisin's first series that she wrote, first published work. So that is super exciting. So this is the 100,000 Kingdoms. We have book 2, which is the Broken Kingdoms, and then book 3, which is the Kingdom of Gods. And so let's just read the back of book 1 here, see what this is about. Yen Dar is an outcast from the barbarian north, but when her mother dies under mysterious circumstances, she is summoned to the majestic city of Sky. There, to her shock, Yen is named an heiress to the king. But the throne of the 100,000 Kingdoms is not easily won, and Yen is thrust into a vicious power struggle. So I don't know if that is like not like Hunger Games-y kind of, you know, if there are going to be games in this, or if it's just all politics, which I think N.K. Jemisin does a wonderful job doing politics. If you see my vlog from a few weeks ago, from basically the beginning of January, you will know that that is something I love so much in the Broken, in the Killing Moon Dreamblood duology, in the Dreamblood duology. So I am super excited to have all 3 of these add to my N.K. Jemisin collection, and I can't wait till she writes more fantasy books so that I can read those. I will probably eventually I think I'm going to try to listen to the first book in the Cities duology that she has. I forget what that's called now, but it's her newest duology that's come out, and to see if I like that before purchasing it, because I think I'll guarantee to like this. This is high fantasy, but that one is urban fantasy, and it kind of makes me a little nervous to read it. So I'm excited to add these to my shelf. So if you kept up in my last vlog, you will know that I was listening to the adventures of Amina al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty, and I was saying in that I really wanted a physical copy so that I could write in it and highlight, because there was so much stuff in there that I was just like, I know if I could write in this, I would freaking love it. Well, I decided, since I already had it on my Kindle, instead of buying the book as a hardback, because I know I'd rather have it in a paperback than a hardback, because I find paperbacks easier to read, I was just gonna read it on my Kindle, because you can highlight on your Kindle and you can write in your Kindle. So like type, I guess, like you could get the new Kindle, I guess, and be able to physically write in it. But anyways, this book is so good. So I really think that Amina al-Sirafi is gonna be a 5-star read. Like, I think I'm gonna have another 5-star read. I'm already just gonna call it here, unless it just goes completely downhill. But I am really liking this. I am loving Miss Chakraborty's writing. It is so good. And the character of Amina al-Sirafi is just so amazing. And I do want to continue to listen to it because I think the audiobook narrator is fantastic, but I want to highlight and write in this. So like, I'm struggle busting through that, but I am loving this book so much. So basically this is, Amina was a badass lady pirate who is in retirement, and she's trying to raise her daughter, but her roof is leaking, and she's living pretty much almost poverty at this point in her life, with the rest of her family. And one day a very wealthy woman shows up to her house and offers her basically $1 million dinar to go save her granddaughter, who has been kidnapped by some Franks. And Amina, that's a lot of money to just turn down. Like, she knows that money could save her family. Her family would never have to worry about money. Her daughter would never have to worry about money ever again. So of course she takes it even though her mom is not down for that. And I am loving this so much so far. I'm about 20% into it right now and enjoying it immensely. And so yeah, I think this is going to be a 5-star. So since I decided to take that off my audiobook read and do that as my physical read, I decided to pick up on my audiobook The Cage of Dark Hours by Marina Lostatter. This is book 2 in the 5 Penalties series. Book 1 was Helm of Midnight, which I do have a complete review of. If you are so interested, I will link that down below. But I'm just on chapter 2 of this, and nicely we have a introduction of what happened in the last book. So that was great, because it's been at least 2 years since I've read the first book. I read it when it first came out, so I needed a recap on what happened in that one, and I might even go back and watch my own video so I can get a little bit more information in my own words of what happened. Obviously there's no spoilers in that video, but what I do remember from it though was that it had a really badass magic system, and it basically was Criminal Minds meets Brandon Sanderson, meaning a Brandon Sanderson magic system, not necessarily anything else. So I do not know what this one is about. We are still following some of the characters that were from that original story, but there has already actually been an introduction of new characters. So we have that going on here. I don't have much to say about this. I am greatly enjoying the audiobook. There are 2 different audiobook narrators, and I think they're doing fantastic. So I am excited to get more on with this. So that was my little haul. That is my little haul for this time period. Hopefully I won't haul any more books anytime soon, but we will see, I guess. And I will let y'all know once I have an update on any of these books. Okay. Hey guys. So I think it's been about a week since I've updated, and I have not finished anything. Last week was so rough at work that anytime I would come home, I was just like, the last thing I want to do is read or think about anything. So instead of reading or thinking about anything, I just watched my TV shows. So no, Voodoo, no ma'am, come here, come over here, good girl. Okay. And so I do have a couple updates on books, but I thought since, you know, some of the things I actually finished was some TV shows that I would really highly recommend, I would talk about those real quick. So I finally finished Suits. I'd been working on that for like, I don't even know, like a few months I've been working on Suits, and there's 8 seasons. I think it's a really, really good show. About season 7 and especially season 8, I think it kind of starts to go a little downhill. Not in like a bad way, not like a Game of Thrones kind of way, but like in like, you know, just a couple characters leave that I just think kind of, once this one character in particular kind of leaves, even though he wasn't my favorite, I think it just kind of hurt the dynamic of the show. And then I felt like they just didn't know what to do with Harvey anymore, and they didn't really know what to do with this character anymore. And then like a new show director came in at that point and started taking over, so not particularly like loving the ending, but I still really, really liked the show. So I would definitely give the show as a whole a 7 out of 10. But definitely those first 6 seasons are like an 8, 9 out of 10. I really, really liked those first 6 seasons. If you don't know what it's about lawyers, and they're like corporate lawyers, but this one kid, Mike, he gets brought into the firm even though he doesn't have a law degree, because he ends up in a really weird situation where Harvey ends up really liking him and wanting to hire him. So it's kind of like keeping that a secret the whole time that Mike's a part of the law firm without him being an actual lawyer. So it kind of has that going on with it for a long, long time. And then there's some other stuff going on there. But it's a really good show. It's like office drama, you know, nothing like, I know absolutely nothing about law and still really like that show. And like, yeah, the law stuff like talks over my head completely, but I still think it was a really good show. So I was like, okay, well, I have like a list of like TV shows that like I want to watch. And so I just told my husband, I was like, hey, pick a number between these ones. And then so the number that he picked ended up corresponding with The Fall of House Usher. Oh, if you want to watch Suits, I watched it all on Netflix. I think it's coming to something else, but I watched it all on Netflix, and as far as I know, it was still on there as of the other day. So The Fall of House Usher is also on Netflix. I watched that in a day. It is a limited series, 8 seasons, Mike Flanagan, horror show, Edgar Allan Poe, fucking fantastic. I think this is the best Mike Flanagan thing he has ever done. And I've watched all of them except for The Haunting of Bly Manor. But I've watched all of his TV shows and Dr. Sleep, and I gotta say Fall of House Usher is the best thing he has done. So good. Like 10 out of 10 fucking recommend. Like I thought, oh my god, this show is so amazing. So you're following this family, House Usher, and basically everybody starts dying and you gotta figure out what the fuck's going on. Well, you kind of know as the audience what the fuck's going on, but you're kind of watching them trying to figure out what's going on. It's super gory. It wasn't horrifying to me. It wasn't scary to me, but I love horror stuff. I've been watching horror ever since I was like fucking 7 years old. So horror doesn't scare me, but it wasn't that horrific to me. It binds in a lot of Edgar Allan Poe's poems and stories. Like it has The Raven, it has The Telltale Heart, it has Black Cat, it has just all of his stories, The Masquerade. So good. So good. And so if you like Edgar Allan Poe, you like horror stuff, you like Mike Flanagan, like, and you haven't watched this, I don't know what you're doing. Voodoo, stop it. Come here. Kitty. She keeps trying to rub her face up against the camera, and I'm just like, that's not gonna work, girlfriend. I actually read the Edgar Allan Poe story, so I don't know how well it follows that, but it was so good. And all of it, costuming, freaking lights, the way he did the camera angle, like I said, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Obviously, I said I watched it in one day. So now I'm watching, because I was like, I need something a little bit more lighthearted, procedural, you know, just go with the flow, not really have to worry about anything. So now I'm watching How to Get Away with Murder. So if you have any TV shows that you would highly recommend, that you're just like, you need to watch this, like I'm pretty much down for almost anything TV wise. I don't like reality TV, so don't give me anything like that, but just let me know TV wise what you would think in the comments down below. I don't like super long drawn out things, so like try not to go over 10 seasons. I mean, yeah, I love Supernatural, but I love Supernatural for a long time. So that's kind of like my criteria. No reality TV shows and no long ass series, because that's just, it's too much for my little brain to handle. So we're mainly here to talk about books, not about TV shows, but I just thought I'd talk about what I've actually finished and been doing other than, you know, reading. So I have been reading a little bit. So I have decided to DNF The Cage of Dark Hours by Marina Lostetter. I loved the first book in this, The Helm of Midnight. I thought that was so good. I really enjoyed it. But this just isn't doing it for me. And every time I have the opportunity to listen to the audiobook, I don't want to. I don't want to pick it up. I want to do anything else other than listen to this. And I think if I would have read this closer to The Helm of Midnight, I think I would have been more interested in it. But since it's been a year and a half or however long it's been since I've read that, I'm just not interested in this. And it's not due to really anything that's happening in the book. It's just, it's not the same. Not completely the same as it was, and I kind of just wanted more Helm of Midnight, and it's not really giving that to me. I think I got 20 to 30% into this. I'll have to look up to be sure, but I think I got 20 to 30% into this, and I was just like, I just don't want to anymore. And I'm kind of okay with saying I don't want to anymore. I've thought about it for a couple days, and I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good. So I would still highly suggest Helm of Midnight, but read this closer to that if you are interested. And I don't think rereading Helm of Midnight and doing this would help any either. It's a very different story. It's taking a lot longer to get started. I believe from what I've heard that there's child abuse in this, and I don't know if it's just physical abuse or if it's also sexual abuse. I think it was sexual abuse, and I'm not down for, like, I can't read that stuff. So like, I didn't get to any of that, so I don't know exactly, but that's, you know, kind of where I am there with this. But a book that I am actually continuing and loving to pieces is The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi. So I am listening to that on Audible. A fantastic audiobook. Just BT dubs. Fantastic audiobook. So I am listening to that and reading along, because every time I would listen to it, like, I couldn't stay like on track with it. So I'm reading along with it on my Kindle. And I'm loving it so much. And the way the audiobook is done is just amazing. There's two narrators, and like, it's just done so well. And the story is so interesting and so cool. So I really like this. And I think, like, you know, a lot of people say they don't like seafaring books or like books set on boats or anything like that. And I think, and I wouldn't say I'm that way either, but like, I'm kind of that way because like, I just don't understand boats. Like, I don't know what starboard is or what are all that lingo, and this book doesn't have that in it. So like, that is very nice. And I think that's what most people mean when they say they don't like books set on boats, is because they don't like that language, because it's hard to understand. As fantasy readers, we don't like that language. But anyways, like, it's Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi is fantastic. Amina is trying to save a girl that's been kidnapped, and she is getting her old crew back together to go into this crazy magical world and trying to figure out what happened to this girl. I'm loving it so much because Amina is definitely an older protagonist. She's like in her 40s and she's still a freaking badass, and just it's her telling her story, and then you're getting like bits and pieces of what people around the world have said about her and think about her and her crew. It's so good. It's so good. I love it so much. So I'm really thinking it's probably gonna end up being a 5-star, so I'm kind of okay with DNFing one and getting a 5-star out of this, and like that's the book I want to be listening to when I can listen, but like I said, I can't listen without actually reading along because there's a lot of words in it that I don't understand because it is set in like a Middle Eastern area, and so like it's using language from that area that like I don't get, so I need I need to see the context clues with it instead of just listening to it. So anyways, I am loving it so much and would highly recommend. But hopefully I will get that finished. I really am going to focus hard on getting that finished this week so that I actually finish a book in this vlog and not just TV shows. So I'm gonna work on that. I'm hoping this week's not gonna be as crazy as it was last week. I have a lot less meetings than I did last week, so I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed there. But yeah, so that's where I am there. This was a really long clip. This probably is gonna be a lot shorter vlog because I don't have as many like cut-ins or anything like that. But anyways, I will see y'all when I got something to say, when hopefully I finished Amina al-Sirafi. All right, and we have made it to the end of this vlog. This vlog was probably a lot shorter than my other ones, but I just didn't read that much this month. But I did finish The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi. I really enjoyed that so much. I loved the setting. I thought Amina and all the side characters were so great, and the plot was fine, but I really loved Amina like telling her story. The overall plot of this story I thought was just fine. It wasn't really anything that great, but I did really enjoy, because this was set in a you know, a Middle Eastern world, and it was based around, you know, a Middle Eastern mythology and life and everything like that, that I felt like I really loved the creatures that were brought up in this. I mean, at one point goes to kind of like a magical parallel universe. It's kind of weird. It was very weird, but during that, she meets a lot of different types of creatures, and I really enjoyed that because that's obviously very different than anything that I'm used to, and I really like that introduction of different types of beings within the world. So I did end up giving this 4 stars as a whole. I think as the series goes on, and if the series continues to be as great as it is, that as a whole series, it's probably going to end up being one of my favorite series. I think this is going to be just kind of based on the fact that she has to find 4 more objects, that this is going to be like a 5-book series. So that's going to be interesting. I gave characters a 9. I believe I gave writing a 9, which I don't know if I've mentioned it, but the audiobook in this is so good. The audiobook is so good. So if you plan on reading this, listen to the audiobook. So writing, and I put in the audiobook with the writing, I also gave a 9. Setting, I gave a 9. Plot, I gave it 8. And my overall enjoyment, I gave it 8, just because I felt like there was parts of this that I was just like, okay, whatever. And like, it was definitely a first book. Like, the ending just didn't feel very satisfactory. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, overall, when it finally gets to the ending, I think I will enjoy this more. So yeah, that's that. This was the only book I read in these 2 weeks, wasn't it? Way to go, me. I'm a badass. But so I gave this 4 stars. I did DNF The Cage of Dark Hours. Just not getting on with it. Didn't want to deal with it. I also I did watch 2 TV shows, The Fall of House Usher and Suits. So that's everything that I did in this last couple weeks. If you enjoy these type of videos, remember to like and subscribe, and we'll talk soon. Bye.